This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. This was a bit of a surprise for me because I think of myself essentially as a Stratocaster player. First and foremost, you know, if I had to pick one type of guitar to be the kind of one, I don't know, that I'm buried with, or something less morbid than that, I feel like it would be a Strat because, I don't know, something about playing it for so long, since I think maybe I was I was at university like 1920 when I got my first G&L Legacy, which was my first Strat type thing, and then I got a Fender Roadworn when I was maybe like 24, something like that, 20, something around there. And then since then, you know, you might have seen that I built a couple of parts casters, and then got a K-line in about 2018, I think it was. And since then, sort of the K-lines have been my go-to guitars, go-to Stratocasters. So you've probably seen over the last kind of few months, really, and even maybe the last sort of year and a half, I kind of got into this idea of having never owned a proper Gibson Les Paul. That search ended up with this, which is a Gibson Les Paul Standard from 2002. Now, recently, I kind of had the feeling I wanted to sell this thing because when I pick it up sometimes, and this doesn't happen with any of my other guitars, it just feels like a bit of a sticky thing that I don't feel super inspired by. Then Murphy's Lab Law, of course, when you put it up on eBay, you find that every time you pick it up since then you feel some sort of inspiration, some sort of connection to the instrument, which was up until that point missing, which is odd, but that seems to be what has happened. So I've taken it down off of eBay. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. I got offered £800 for it, which was cool. And I did also get an offer, I think, of about £1,500, which was close to what I was asking for it. I just basically put it up for £1,749, which I think was a fair-ish price for a 2002. Anyway, what was surprising to me was that generally when I think of a Les Paul, I kind of think of things being a little bit maybe on the muddy side, bit congested, a bit nasal, but also maybe not super suited towards kind of sensitive playing. Now, obviously, Duke Levine, my buddy Jake sent me a video of Duke Levine playing a Les Paul, and you know, you can play anything on a Les Paul. You could do what Les Paul did and play jazz on there. You could play country on there. You do whatever. But for me, my associations with the Les Paul are more or less kind of, you know, rock to metal stuff, and maybe blues. But often if it was like Joe Bonamassa or Gary Moore, there'd be a lot of gain on that as well. You know, a Les Paul into a JCM type amp. But what was surprising to me about this video was that tonally, I felt like, and even sort of playing wise, dynamics wise, maybe it was because the kid wasn't fiddling around with this as I was trying to play it, but I felt like in almost all cases, I'm preferring the sound of the Les Paul when I put them up side by side. Now, I don't know if you agree with that, disagree with that, but certainly I was feeling like this definitely had a thing going on. And what I was noticing, I feel like, is that there's more weight to the notes, and what that probably means is there's a bit more low mids, which you'd kind of expect, right? But also, you know, as I get up here to the dusty end of the fretboard for other people, this is my dusty end, you find that the notes, again, continue to keep that weight. You know, whether you talk about this as being something that's warm or, you know, whether sustaining or all these things, instead of it being this idea that it was a congested thing, I actually found that I'm probably preferring the takes with the Les Paul, which is not quite what I expected. I've got this kind of Bassman preset for Helix Native, which I'm using here. And by dialing in something which is a bit brighter, I'm really getting quite a lot out of it. And it's all about context, is that when I compare with my Strat, and I'm thinking for live use as well, this is one of the things that I've noticed most of all with the Les Paul, is that sometimes if I'm playing with a Strat live, I, you know, typically for my rhythm tones, I'd be on this bridge pickup, right? With a Marshall Governor style circuit. But when you click to the clean, and if you're on this bridge pickup, it's not so much ice picky for me, but it's more that it kind of then, kind of this pickup is lower in output, it's kind of becomes weak and stuff like that. You don't get so much of that going on with the Les Paul, presumably because of the kind of the balance between the pickups. Yes, the neck pickup is more boomy still, just like on the Strat, but I've found that the bridge pickup on a Les Paul still kind of works quite nicely for that live, clean, funky thing. I think at the end of the day, what I'd really like, maybe, would be to take this half of a Gibson Les Paul, and then this, it's not half, is it? But this half of a Strat. Like, if you could have the kind of Strat neck pickup, maybe the Gibson Les Paul, like, bridge pickup. I think probably the bridge and all this stuff is an important part of that. So I'm not just saying an HSS guitar, but this bridge pickup for me in the Les Paul is where you get some of the magic. In the Strat, it's kind of the opposite, where the neck pickup is where you get some of the magic. But what I found is if you have a bit more of a scooped tone, even with the neck pickup on a Les Paul, you get some really cool kind of hollowy, not fully kind of hollowy, but you know, like. Yeah, that's the thing. But actually, I think I'm going to try a gig in the Les Paul again later on this year, because I feel like that is where I'm really liking the extra body that the Les Paul actually has, where you've got kind of these notes that stay thick up at the higher end of the fretboard with less gain, because there's kind of a bit more sustain, there's a bit more body to it, a bit more low mids, and it's hitting stuff a little bit harder than the Strat pickups would in general. I think that's, Yeah, and even like in this situation where it's not necessarily music that's necessarily super suited to a Les Paul, I still think I'm enjoying the take that came out on the Les Paul better than the Strat. So a bit of a surprise for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What did you like the sound of better? I think in isolation, when I've just played these, I preferred the Strat, but in the mix, the Les Paul for me worked better.